workday ends before most people start, and that's not by accident.
I'm truly in a season right now of rebuilding my entire business. These days actually feel harder than when I was trying to quit my corporate job. I feel like a beginner.
And no, I'm not talking about waking up at 4 a.m. just to meditate and cold plunge and go back to bed. I'm talking about structuring your day in a disciplined way that allows you to do what you want as an entrepreneur. But it wasn't always like this.
Boys working on empty. Is that the kind of way to face the burning heat? I just think about my baby.
Showing up on camera raw, like no makeup, nothing. So we actually have well water, and we have a whole house filtration system. It's not like city water, which also reminds me that we haven't done a vlog since I moved into my new house. We've been here a little over a year now, and my last vlog was in my like less than 1,000 square foot apartment in Miami. So I'm really excited to show you guys, because this is definitely more like a consistent lifestyle that I live versus like in the past I was living in Miami and New York City and Bali, so I was like always needing to switch up my routine, versus now I can have like a pretty standard routine but just make little switches here and there. All right, now Delilah's second favorite part of the morning. So as soon as you open the freezer, she knows. Like she just gets like like she knows the sound extremely well. She takes it to her lair. So another thing too is I used to do my morning routine and wear my pajamas, because like obviously it's more comfortable, but as you guys will see, like for the rest of the day in my life, I find it a lot harder to change out of my pajamas when I'm working in my pajamas. So I always put on like a workout set to remind myself that like working out today is a priority. I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but I'm such a like holistic person, not just like in business, but in my life. So this is actually all organic and clean coffee grinds. So I'm also gonna leave this out because we have an assistant that comes to our house 3 days a week, and then she works remote 2 days a week. And she just does things that make our lives easier. So like, for example, I'll ask her to refill this coffee pot. So I'm gonna write it on a sticky note while I explain this to you guys. So I used to get a really like not good reaction to coffee. Like it would just make me like hyper and like not feel good and all these things. And now I looked into like researching what is like the best coffee, and I realized that a lot of coffee has mold in it. So this is mold-free coffee, but it's also organic, and it's just like on a subscription delivery. So that's one thing. And then another thing is I also eat 1/3 of oats. I only started doing this last week, but drinking coffee on an empty stomach is not really good for women and hormonal health. So now I'm working with a fitness and nutrition coach, and one thing that we decided was like, I'm not obviously hungry to eat like a whole breakfast right now, so I just meal prep 1/3 of oats. So it's like a little something in my stomach, a little bit of protein. It's like 150 calories and like 10 grams of protein alongside my coffee. So we'll do that next. It's also crazy because I used to like, a few years ago when I was living in New York City, I used to intermittent fast, and that was when I was the most like unhealthy. So I would wake up like 4 a.m. is only something I've been doing probably the last 3 or 4 months. So I'd wake up at 5 and drink like coffee, maybe still like one a day, but not eat until like 12 o'clock, which is insane. But now I'm like, oh my God, I'm like eating at 4:30. I like actually wake up hungry.
You're waking up like pretty fired up today.
Yeah.
But are there ever like Mondays, specifically like the 4 a.m. Mondays, where you're like, you wake up, you're like, damn, I fucked up with my routine last night. Like, I'm not ready for this, but like, you gotta lock in. You know what I mean?
Like honestly, no. Like first of all, I look at every day of the week the same. So I'm not like, oh, it's Monday, like, oh, it's Sunday, because I work the weekends. So to me, like every day feels the same. I think just each day has like a different energy. So for example, like today, Monday, is my like CEO day, where like I really am like 100% focused on my team, and then I actually only like fulfill for clients Tuesday to Thursday, and it's mostly asynchronous. I think we have about anywhere from 40 to 60 active clients right now. I only have like one client that I have one-on-one coaching calls with because I started working with her. She's actually one of my like OG clients, but I started working with her like in March before we transferred all the coaching over to my coaches. So for example, she's like the only standing meeting I have. I actually have that tomorrow, but besides that, all other meetings are like fully ones that I set, which also means that I can cancel. But right now my schedule's pretty clear. It's kind of fun, but it also can be challenging as an entrepreneur because you're like, what do I work on? But I also have so many things I can work on. So this season for me is all about priority management. How do I make the most of the time that I have? So this is another thing I want to show you guys. So my phone is blocked every day. Like I call it my kill switch from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. So if I need something, like even as simple as my Ring camera, then I need to like go through hoops to like get to the app. So nothing on my phone except my like text messages and my phone calls. But the only people that actually like text me is my family. Everyone else I feel like I just talk to on Slack or Instagram. So one of my dear friends, Laura, sent me this book. You guys might have seen my podcast with her. We did like a sit down podcast in London when I was there. And it's really like nice because it's like, you know, I always try to do some type of like personal development in the morning. So yeah, she sent me this book. So I usually just kind of like read a page and eat my breakfast. Yeah, okay. Delilah girl. Delilah girl. Wanna go upstairs? And she's like, fuck no, bitch. A little bit. Let's go. Maybe she'll follow us, maybe not.
Oh, she's good.
Alright, so I just got a sun lamp because I wake up so early. So it puts like sunlight on you while it's dark out. I'm into like, not like crazy into like biohacking and all this stuff, but I saw Brian Johnson had it, so I wanted it. So the first work block of my day is deep work. So I'll do that from 5 to 9. And then Mondays I do personal training. So typically at 9 I would go do a workout. But since I'm doing personal training and personal training is in the afternoon, like 4:30, I'll just do my walk. So I basically do 2 bits of movement throughout the day, 1 walk and then 1 workout. My to-do list is pretty hefty because it is a Monday. So Monday, are for team. So I basically just have this like checklist, and I kind of separate it between 3 things: in the business, on the business, and management, which are kind of like my 3 roles right now. The very first thing I'm going to work on is the most brain intensive project, which is working on basically developing a new SOP on how we launch freebies. Because right now it's a little bit like sporadic and not consistent. What I want to work on is building out this SOP, and marketing is like the first focus. So what I do is I set a timer for 90 minutes. So before I get started, I actually want to show you guys my calendar so that you can see that my work day is never, like I'm never waking up in the morning and guessing what am I working on today. I actually front load it all on a Sunday. So for example, yesterday I spent about 90 minutes planning all my meals and my entire week, Monday to Friday. We have some visitors coming at the end of this week, so it's like a little bit lighter towards the end, but typically I would have like a full Monday to Friday like fleshed out. And as you can see on my calendar, I do things past 9 a.m. and we'll explain a little bit later because this video is not clickbait. The difference between what happens after 9 a.m. versus what happens before 9 a.m. and how I've actually structured my schedule now for 3 years to be able to live this kind of life as a 7-figure entrepreneur. So we're about like 30-ish minutes into the deep work session, and we basically just like high level strategized the new funnel of how we send the like short form traffic to YouTube, long form, middle of the funnel, and then how we get that middle of funnel to actually apply to book a sales call with us for our high ticket program, the Creator to Cash Flow Academy. So this, like the rest of this year, is like 100% focused on tracking and really understanding like what pieces of content are converting people. And the second part of it is creating really strong and good middle of the funnel content so that when people opt in, they're actually spending more time with me and with the brand before they book something like a call, which is like a pretty big ask for a high ticket program.
It's tricky at the top, gotta keep it slim, me go for a thick wallet. Losing friends left and right, but I just let them have the light.
All right, so right now I'm setting my timer for my next deep work block for 90 minutes, and now this is like my management block. So since it's Monday, like I said, it's mostly like team heavy leadership work. I'm basically reviewing my client success team's end of week reports, which is basically where they give me a overview of all the students under management, and I help with strategy, retention, and really anything on the fulfillment side. So that's my focus right now, and then I have a long list of other management things I'll be doing. Morning.
I'm here for our manufactured hug. How long have you been up?
At the same time every day.
Where's Delilah? You're just thrown off because usually Delilah's laying on a step in the stairs, but she's not right now. And then I walk over, she
And
wakes
she
up.
comes running.
I say hi to Delilah before I say hi to you.
She's not doing well with the camera. She's very, very camera shy. So now my work day is officially done. A little bit earlier, right before 9. And we'll show you a little bit later what happens after 9 a.m., but let's go for a walk right now.
So basically the plan is that if we build out this like, how do we book more calls from short form content to long form, then we can decide like, okay, if they're not a fit for our high ticket offer, where can they get started? And that's kind of been the vision of building out Creator School, which is our low ticket, like do it yourself bank where people can just get templates and assets and like just kind of more guided education to qualify them to become our high ticket clients over a longer period of time. Because for the first few years, like while we were just focused on getting to $1 million a year, we just were kind of like, okay, you know, if you can't afford our high ticket, we'll just keep serving you for free until you can. But now we're at a point where like the brand is getting so big that we're just starting to realize that we're probably leaving a ton of money on the table by not serving people at that level. So the goal to go from like 1 mil a year to 10 million a year, even 12 million a year, right? Think $1 million a month is going to be better infrastructure so that we could capture more leads, or rather convert more leads from viewer to paying client, and also have more products. So like if you read the book Ready, Fire, Aim, you know, scaling to 1 million is all about getting like your signature product, which we've nailed really well. But now getting to 10 million is actually through rapid product development and operational efficiency. So just like finding out where the inefficiencies are and building that way.
Nah, you wanna hit, you gon' get karma.
Expanding on what I was talking about before, I've already mastered like how to make 100K a month, and it's somewhere that we've comfortably sat for years. And this year, more than ever, I'm just not just motivated, but actually working towards how to scale past this point. So something I'm really focused on right now is not just money, because I've already hit, you know, those milestones and those goals. And even though more money like is great, right? Who wouldn't want more money? It's just not the primary goal. So it's like getting to $1 million a year or $100K a month was always about one offer, one platform, one funnel, 1 million. But now it's actually about building the infrastructure where you can make more sales, have greater lifetime value. And for someone like me with a pretty big organic personal brand, it's actually building the infrastructure to sustain it, but also grow it in a way where you're making more money. You're not just like getting more followers and views and all this vanity, but actually growing it efficiently, also tapping a little bit into like paid ads, and learning like paid marketing, right? I put $1 in, I get $2 out, learning about ROAS and all of that I didn't need to do up until this point. So I'm truly in a season right now of rebuilding my entire business, which is what it feels like, but also what it is. And it's kind of crazy to think that I feel like a beginner in so many parts of my business, because a lot of it feels foreign and unknown. And honestly, like one of the hardest seasons, I almost feel like these days actually feel harder than when I was trying to quit my corporate job. I don't like fully remember those feelings, if I'm being honest, but I'm like, damn, this is just as, if not more painful, just like in a new way. So like I said, it's now 9:30, and everything beyond this point in the day is what I'm choosing to do. And I like to make that super clear, because if I wanted my day to end, I absolutely could have it end, for today. I could like chill on my couch, I could read, I could go out somewhere. But Mondays, I very intentionally like to meet with each department of my team to make sure that we're moving things along. Everything really beyond this point is, like I said, what I want to do, not what I have to do. And I think that's the true freedom. But the truth is, this season, like I said, of my business of rebuilding, it's so focused on doing more when it feels slow versus like taking it as like a backseat and be like, okay, I'm comfortable, I make this much money per month. And I think that's always been one of my strong suits, is not getting complacent. So I'll oftentimes find a lot of entrepreneurs in this season where they're like, I make decent money, I make good money, I make enough money. But to me, that's not in my vocabulary. Like the whole point of it is the game and growing and getting better and challenging yourself. I'm at an age in a season of life right now where like I have so much gas in the tank that I just want to go. But like one day, right, when I have kids and a family, maybe my priorities will be a little bit different. So like for now, I always think about what is the current season I'm in and what matters the most, where it's like if I spend the next 2 to 3 years super intentional creating this infrastructure, I can then go live off of that for the next 10 years and maybe have, a 5-10 hour work week, and I really just like sit back and enjoy. But now it's time to make some breakfast, high protein, and then get back to work on some team meetings and some stuff that I'm genuinely excited for. I love seeing my teammates. One day I want to have an in-person office, so we'll be documenting that. So when we get it in the future, we'll come back to this moment. But I honestly love seeing my team's faces on a Monday. What are you doing? Sounds like she's under the patio. Delilah girl, brief intermission, because Delilah went under the, ew, she actually smells like shit. Like she smells so fucking bad. You're getting the actual real snippets of days of my life. So this is my all hands meeting. Basically meet with the entire team for 30 minutes on Mondays, just rally the team, get clear on focus points, what's ahead. So let's do it. Yeah, give me like a 2-word check-in. Let's go around the room. David, you first. 2-word check-in.
I'm alright.
You're alright. Alright, by the end of this meeting, you're gonna be fired up.
Baby in my arms, walking through the neighborhood, living in the present, not what it should.
So just did the all hands meeting. Now I'm going to content and marketing to see what content performed the best last week and what we're gonna drive for the upcoming week ahead with my new full-time content creator, Melanie, that I just hired, and I'm stoked about because I'm really proud of the stuff she did last week. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Love it. All right, so my intention for this meeting, I made like a little agenda where I just want to go over like a few updates, but the first thing I wanted to check in on is you. Like, how was your first week? I think you absolutely crushed it, but I want to leave some room to like hear your feedback. And if there's anything we could maybe do better for this week, any feedback you have, and we'll roll from there. So 2 meetings down, I'm about to meet with my sales team. I have 2 new hires on the sales side, so really exciting that we're having like our first team meeting with them together. But I think I'm gonna go upstairs, especially like with that kind of prospect. Towards the end of the call, it could be easy to just kind of be like, she's not the right fit, like drop it there, which was kind of the vibe that I got when I was listening back. But there's always that opportunity to actually like book a second call and buy yourself some time. So like, for example, if you get to the end, like I like that you didn't like pitch the price because she wasn't ready. But I think there was an opportunity to be like, okay, like just straight up be like, something's feeling off right now, like what's not clicking for you, and being like really direct and upfront versus being like, okay, like fuck it, it's not a fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Awesome. Making lunch right now. Been an eventful morning. Checked in with my team, almost everybody. I have one more meeting with my operator, which is like a 90-minute meeting, and we basically just kind of get clear on like priorities, focus points. I also had to fire somebody today, so that's great, and I already have another interview lined up for the role that I'm going to need to replace it for. So that's kind of one thing, guys. You want to always have like a ABR mindset, always be recruiting. So you have a pipeline at all costs. Like I couldn't have projected that this person wasn't going to work out, right? So I'm always just like building my pipeline of available talent, which is massive, so that you don't have delays in what you're building. I think I'm just going to call this guy on my lunch break right now. my second person in my pipeline.
School, my schedule is very basic or very lenient this semester, so school is not an issue. The coaching job is literally 1, maybe 2 hour classes a day.
Mm-hmm. So on my lunch break, already hired new person for the role. They start their 2-week trial tomorrow. I'm not fucking around. We are growing to the moon. Now I'm jumping into my meeting with my operator. That's a 90-minute meeting, and then right after I will go to personal training. Now I'm gonna jump into my car. We're going to personal training, and then we come back, dinner, and like basically bedtime. Guys, I am straight up gassed. I'm gonna make a salad, end of my day, and I got 0 left in the tank. 1 hour until my meditation wind down time. So now I've been up for 14 hours, and this is the life. I meal prepped dinner, which is nice, so I don't have to cook anything because Mondays are crazy. We usually do takeout. It's actually the first Monday that I meal prepped though, so this will be really good. I cook like pretty much every night. If we do takeout, it's only like 1 time a week. I'm like, can I just eat cabbage straight up? Not bad.
Marcus, what were you saying about Julia's work ethic earlier?
All right, now you're trying to get this corny shit on camera.
Mm-hmm.
I can't repeat it.
Tell me.
It came from the heart. Now I can't repeat it.
Tell me.
I said Julia has a gas tank like no one else in the industry. Did you hear that? I tell you that all the time.
That's why I love you. We're so
I'm not built for this YouTube shit. Still there.
Come get it.
Just do the water floss. It's not gonna come out with.
Babe, the whole point is I'm staying here
It's
with Delilah.
It's lodged in, so you need to get the water floss. Try.
Let me see your phone.
No, just go to the water floss.
Oh my god, we can't get me on camera like this. Please go get me a toothpick. You know you'd be making such a scene if this was you. It's my baby. So,
end of the night, chillin', family time, clean the kitchen, wind down, usually watch a show. Right now we're watching a little bit of YouTube instead. Maybe do a little bit of wrap-up work. And then we're back at it again tomorrow. Today was honestly like a boring, busy day, but yet Monday's like my busiest days. So not every day is like this. Like other days I have maybe like one meeting, if that. I'm sorry. Thanks for watching.